Helen Yee here at Split T Boxing, being joined by the one and only Mr. Jake Shields. Now, you just got done with some holiday training, right?
Yeah, just for a hard workout, hit padding for the first time in like 2 years with Dewey Cooper. That was exhausting. Wasn't used to punching and kicking, but it was fun to do that again.
Yes, absolutely. Now, early Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. Any plans?
I think just stay here. Actually, going to Mexico for New Year's Eve for a couple days down to Sayulita. Never been there, but here it's pretty nice, so go check that out.
Yeah, enjoy your time there. And I know that last weekend it was a really big weekend. A lot went on. And in Tampa, you were there, Chris Avila. He beat Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, our boy Chris Avila went and beat him up. That was great because they got in a little scuffle at the weigh-ins. And I guess the guy was I never heard of the guy, but someone showed me interviews. He talking about me, Gil Melendez, Nate Diaz. I'm like, who is this clown? He was saying he's going to call us out after, but luckily our boy Chris went and put an end to that.
Now, who would you like to see next for Chris?
Man, I don't know. I mean, we can go in there and fight Jake Paul. I know Jake wants Nate, but he ain't earned that name yet. He's gotta go win a real fight first. That could make sense to build that up.
Yeah, definitely. Now, speaking of Jake Paul, what did you make of his win and his knockout win over Tyron Woodley, someone that you fought before as well?
Woodley's a guy I like a lot, and I think, Jake Paul is a decent fighter, but we actually we didn't stick around for the fights. I think Nate was getting bored and wanted to bounce, so we took off before the Jake Paul fight.
Now, what was it that I saw on Instagram? Nate said that Jake Paul, they hired security around him, or what happened there?
Yeah, I guess they were a little, I don't know exactly what happened, but he had security guards trying to keep Nate away, I guess. And I don't know, I think they thought Nate was going to call him out or something, but he had no interest really in fighting him. He thinks, he hasn't really earned that fight yet. Nate's the star, and I think that's why, they put us like in the front row, and they had like his podcast guys behind us. It was a little weird. You think they'd have put his friends in front of us, but they kind of put them behind us, and like they're trying to, I feel like they're trying to build a fight. So let's just, we don't want to stick around and watch. Let's just get out of here.
Yeah. But Nate definitely not interested.
I don't know. I mean, Nate likes money, so you never know. But I think he feels like that Jake Paul is not on his level, so it's kind of a joke to be calling him out. I mean, I'm sure there's a payday that might get him interested, but as far as him looking to fight Paul, that's kind of a joke. He's looking to fight like top 5 fighters.
Yeah. Well, speaking of top 5 fighters, I know he and Dustin Poirier, they were supposed to fight back in 2018, and then I saw Dustin and him go back and forth on Twitter. Where does that stand right now?
I know Nate wants that fight. Like I said, he wants a top 5 opponent, but the UFC I don't think wants to give him a top 5 opponent. They're trying to give him guys that aren't names because they don't want him to leave the UFC with a huge win like that. So hopefully they'll be able to come to some terms. I mean, the fans want it, Nate wants it, Poirier wants it. I mean, I want it. I think everyone wants to see that fight. So it makes sense. So it's up to the UFC.
Yeah, definitely. So with that said, and Nate, and obviously his contract stuff, it's kind of out there in the open. Do you foresee him re-signing with the UFC?
I know Nate loves the UFC and wants to be part of it, but I don't think they necessarily treat him that well, and he just wants to treat with a little respect. So I would love if they could go and come to terms with Nate, but it just seems like whatever reason they're trying to kind of mess with him instead of sitting down and talk to him like a man. I don't think they realize that. He's probably the biggest star in the world right now, and I think I know all the fighters hang out with people and walk around with them. When you walk around with Nate, it's different than walking around with anyone else. I mean, I guess Conor probably has that same fame, but it's, you walk around New York street. I now walk around there with big celebrities and pretty much get ignored. You walk around with Nate Diaz and you're getting swarmed, and it's just, I was living Nate, I was just hanging out with all kinds of celebrities in New York, and no one was getting, not just fighters, and no one would have people come up to me like the way Nate did. I don't think I'm sure the UFC does realize it, but they don't want to act like they do. So.
Well, even like in Tampa, I know that he got such a huge ovation whenever people saw him. And even on Twitter, it was circulating that Dan Hooker joked about it, that Nate made someone spill his beer and he KO'd someone via flinch.
Yeah, that was one of the guys that was trying to brawl at the weigh-ins. He walked by and saw him because the guy was talking tough trying to fight Nate at the weigh-in, so he went and flinched at him. The dude spilled the beer all over himself. So that was kind of funny. And so that's one thing too. I think the crowd was way more interested in Nate Diaz than like Logan Paul walking around, and that was his own brother's fight. So it just shows the star power he has.
I also think on the note of that guy though, that the schmo bought him a sandwich that night. He seemed a bit down.
Oh, the guy that got the beer spilled on himself? He probably needed it. That was kind of embarrassing. That went completely viral. Nate didn't even tell me about that until I saw it on the clip. I'm like, who the hell is this?
Oh, you weren't with him?
No, I wasn't even with him when that happened. I just saw the clip the next day, and I'm like, what was that? And he's like, oh, yeah, it was that guy at the weigh-ins that was talking crap. I seen him, so I flinched at him, and he dropped his beer all over himself.
Yeah, that was definitely crazy. But I did see a few days ago that Dana White said that he doesn't want to see Nick Diaz back in the octagon. What are your sentiments on where Nick stands right now?
I think, like I said, Nick, I think it was kind of apparent to everyone in the last fight. His mind wasn't in it, and he had some things he had to work out. I think Nick is currently working those things out, and as far as I know, Nick's doing a lot better. And I would love to see Nick fight again as long as he gets the proper training camp in. And I think currently, at least at the moment, he's doing the things that are right, and hopefully he'll be able to come back and be the true Nick Diaz, not the half of Nick. Because I think him even coming there without a camp, I think he impressed a lot of people. You know, if he was able to go out there with his head not right, his body not right, and still go and have a war with Robbie Lawler, and Lawler looked great. I don't think it was an off Lawler. I think that was a very strong, prepared-looking Lawler, and Nick still went out there and gave it a war.
Well, what about you? When's your next fight? And I know last time that we spoke, you and Danis, I follow you on Instagram as well, and it seems like there was a bit of beef between you and Danis?
Yeah, I mean, Danis is probably the biggest embarrassment in combat sports, but he's just always, a few years ago I beat him with in a grappling match, and then after that, he, like 4 or 5 times he'd call grappling promoters and ask for a rematch. He would call him like at nighttime, and they'd call him back, and he would just, I would agree to do the match, and then he would just ghost him. And so the guy, was a complete clown. And for some reason, in the middle of the night, he decided to DM me saying he wants to fight me. So it's like, sure, I'll fight you anytime. But I'm for sure if he actually gets the call to do it, he won't do it. I mean, he'd call Scott Coker and say, put the match together. I would box him, I'll grapple him, MMA, anywhere he wants. But I have a feeling Dylan won't show up. Yeah, I mean, I doubt Dylan's fighting. Like I said, I'm not currently looking for fights, but I would hop in there. I'm not retired either. I'd hop in there for the right fight. If Dylan wanted to go in there, if an OG legend like Dan Henderson wanted to step up and fight me in us old folks division, but then I'll fight these young guns, like beat up guys like Dylan or Jake Paul or those guys. But I'm not actively trying to hunt like fighting, but I'm still training pretty much every day, training pro fighters. So I'm still very much involved with the sport.
And what about 2022? What can your fans expect from you?
I'm for sure I'll be doing some pro grappling things. I have some really good fighters I'm training. I got a bunch of good guys here that are starting to make names, guys that have just signed with the UFC. So I think we'll see more of the guys I'm training do well.
And what would you like to let all your fans know?
Just, keep looking at, I think I have some great fighters coming up. You'll see me that way. All kinds of business projects. Some of them I can't announce, but I got a lot going on.